So.
I wanted to listen to a song before we started, just to be, and my playlist actually picked The Trumpet by Sound Nomadin, which is a different song, but I thought, no, I'm more in the mood. I love that guy. Tell me where the freaks are.
Yeah.
And I love the two, because at my work, Art's always looking for speaker breakers, unable to connect due to... What? Are you blocked by a firewall, Randy?
That doesn't make sense. He's our tech guy. Have technical issues.
In that case, it makes perfect sense, because if they'd given it to us, we'd be like, what? Where's Randy go?
Don't give them any more challenges.
But so Art's always looking for speaker breakers, and when that guy's all the tweeters and the whatever make the speakers go to war, I love it. Oops. He said it's been giving him problems lately. Maybe dump your caches, maybe? I'm trying. What?
So I have a share.
Yay, what's the share?
I got a new book.
The Code of the Extraordinary Mind by... Cool. Vishen La... I'm never going to be able to pronounce that.
Well, you got Vishen right. He only ever does that. Yeah, it's the Mind Valley guy.
It's the mind. Yes. I never try to say his name aloud. I never try to say his name aloud. I just kind of was just like, that guy. Hey, look it, Brenda. We could just use you. You don't have to be the pictures. There he is.
Hey, it was the title of the lab, so
Yeah, kind of says, doesn't it?
So, everybody having a great day?
Yeah.
Yes. It's sunny and beautiful, and going to be a record high heat day today. And
really?
In Washington, really? Wow.
Yeah, the 8th day in a row. It broke the record since the mid 1800s. Eight days in a row.
Wow.
Of over 80-degree temperatures.
I have a friend who is who lives up there, but was down here, so he missed out on most of it. So I'm glad it's continuing.
Well, it's supposed to rain tomorrow, so.
Figures.
Hey, it's the evergreen state,
I love it. I should
need
live
a little
there.
rain sometime.
We were talking about some artist who had a rain room, and I could really understand that. If when we're in a drought, a rain room for me, where'd she go? Would be
Elsie's under the table.
Did you listen to the second song, the one about more rum for the pirates? It was not a suggestion. What are you doing, Elsie? But either way, I think a rain room would work for me like those fake sunshine machines work for you guys that don't like the rain. So yeah, in a drought environment, I need something that simulates rain a little. I shouldn't say need, just want.
We don't have to simulate it here. It comes and goes. And
it's funny because you guys can have droughts and have had one recently, but it's still not like our droughts.
Right. Definitely.
You just got to enjoy some sunshine. I get to see cracks in my body.
In fact, we get the news about California wanting to buy some of our water.
Well, there's issues. That's just... Yeah, you can't even go there. There's so much that we didn't start from a good basis in the first place to understand. So now just chaos.
Yeah.
Are you better?
At least Shasta Lake is full again.
Yay. The one they need to take everything up with is Nestle's, but we don't want to talk about it.
I don't see pictures of us at the top. Did they change that?
Oh, they'd have changed some things.
Yeah, they seem to come and go. I don't know what's up with that, but sometimes they're there and sometimes they're not.
I don't even see us over there. That's interesting. Yeah, well.
But you can click on the little eye up there and see in the left-hand column, everybody that's there.
Oh, yeah. But not, she's saying like the picture that you put up to announce it. I do think it used to show somewhere, but it doesn't seem to now.
Oh, well, there's the share last 30 seconds.
Yeah.
That
probably would show it,
That does both Twitter and Facebook.
Right.
And with a 30-second clip of the previous 30 seconds. So you want to say something nice in that 30 seconds before you share it.
Yeah. Or if we had an evening one, like on one of your music ones, you could make it a game. Kind of like when you watch the Bob Newhart show and people say, "Hi, Bob," they have that drinking game where every time they say, "Hi, Bob," you can take a drink, right? So every time somebody says something, you hit share last 30 seconds.
Can we try it now? Let's do it, because I need to know how this works. Ready?
There you go.
So what do we do?
It won't share. Mine won't share.
Mine never has either.
I don't think it will do the audio. It just does the video.
Oh.
So it's just like a 30-second
So,
gif.
yeah, let's do it. Ready? For 30 seconds?
Welcome to the fabulous playground.
Okay, so when do I share?
Here now. And see if you
ready?
can do it, because mine could.
Yeah.
Okay. Fabulous.
So when do I start talking about something serious?
We're gonna introduce you because you've been talking about something and you've been sharing something every single day.
I have.
Inquiring minds are very curious. What's going on over there?
That's a good question. That's a very good question.
And look, today is Friday the 13th, 3 p.m.
Oh my God!
There's some threes going on over here.
Has anyone shared anything interesting on your timeline about what their Friday the 13th is like? Oh man, what mine did, and it's like, with the whole notion that you attracted things into your life, I wouldn't even know what to make about it. He basically drove up and pulled up next to a car at his work. The guy was masturbating in the next car. Oh my God.
Wow.
He says,
that seems
he says he was just finishing it. He says, "So how's your Friday the 13th going?" And I'm thinking, nowhere near like that.
Wow. Another way to start the day.
I shared something on Facebook about 6 years ago on Friday the 13th.
What happened?
When I was separated and I was able to go back into the house that we had. So I was looking through a file cabinet and found this E-Series savings bond for $25. So I took it down to the bank and got like $137.
Yay! See?
Because it had been there for like, I don't know, 30 years,
right?
32 years. So it had accumulated. So that was a good Friday.
Okay, I have a question about those bonds.
Yes.
You actually have to bring something physical, but if it's in someone's name, can't they just look it up? How can you find something you've lost?
You can Google that. They have how to find lost money like that, and they do have it specifically about bonds, because I tried it, because back when I worked at Mare Island, I know that I entered the program to get saving bonds, right? But I never knew what had happened to them, and apparently what happened to them is I ended up giving up before I ended up stopping it coming out of my paycheck before I really got anything, and they gave me the money back. But because I didn't remember and I didn't have any documentation, I found out you can. So just Google savings bonds and you know,
Okay.
and they do have a lot of information up there. And they have multiple of those sites where you can find lost money. And I know people, I've never found any. I guess I'm pretty good at keeping track of mine. But I've heard multiple people who have found lost money.
Cool. Okay. Cool.
We lost Randy in the middle of that, and somehow I feel responsible.
Yeah, but now I can see our picture bubbles.
Oh, that's
They're
weird.
up there.
Oh, interesting.
Now they're back.
That's even it.
Okay, so what are you doing? Tell us about this new and exciting lunch at 3 p.m. today.
Oh, okay. I wasn't really going to talk about that first. I was going to go land cruise, but
Let's talk. Oh, no, we do have to talk land cruise.
So last week when Janine was talking about how it's law of attraction is just a process, Don't like Justa. Don't like it at all. And then from my perspective on whether or not Jesus is in Abraham that Esther Hicks is channeling, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Could be, might not be. When it's really scary, but when you go down the line of the witness and so forth and realizing your source self and everything, there's a church locally that had this sign up, and it's absolutely accurate. Be Jesus, because you are. You know what I mean? So it really doesn't matter to me if Abraham is channeling, or if Esther Hicks, if one of the people's Jesus or not. That those are just non-physical masters.
When I think of Jesus as through his teachings, like yesterday, I was going through stuff with my son, and I called on that. I brought out the visual because I got brought up in the Janine thing. The visual brings me to exactly what I was raised with as far as, Jesus's teachings.
Right.
Anyway, so bringing him out and into my awareness helped kind of guide me into, well, what does he represent? And it helped me align with my own truth and my own answer.
Which is the best thing to do. Cool. Which is the best thing to do when you're dealing with anything, is to get yourself right. And then it's just like that triage thing about, put the mask on yourself first. And so if you never react and you always take action from when you've gotten yourself aligned, things will work better. And sure, that's a process. And sure, that's what Jesus told you. That's what that's what they all told you. They just it was funny because I was talking, you get so excited about, I get so excited about talking on one of these when I get to just go free and talk about whatever I want. So that I was talking with Art, the guy I work with beforehand. And so he's always trying to incorporate aliens and grays into the whole notion. And I said,
I got that too. Hold on, hold that thought. Hold that thought.
It's so hard to hold a thought. Stay in there. Ta-da! But so he's always on about those, right? And I don't have a lot of experience with those. Now, my mother did see you. You're not going to have heard anything I said. Art has a lot of interest in aliens and grays and stuff. I don't have a lot of experience. I don't have a lot of background in that. My mother did see a flying saucer, and so she had a bunch of that going on. But to me, it becomes obvious somewhere down the road that aliens are angels. You know what I mean? Aliens are angels.
My son says we are aliens.
Yeah. I think
these are angels too.
And I think we worry about like the world ending and how that happened with the dinosaurs. I think we were the dinosaurs. Whatever was the prevailing life on the planet, we were it. It was just different. So why worry about it? Just live. But so the thing that's great about the Abraham Hicks workshops and things, the ones that are multiple days, right? Okay, if the goal, you're always in the receiving mode.
Okay.
You're always in the receiving mode, right? What are you in the receiving mode of? Whatever you feel like.
Yeah.
Whatever you feel like. So
I have some tension in my heart right now. I don't know what it is.
So let it go.
I have to figure that out.
Let it go.
Yeah, I haven't even checked in yet. I think it had to do with yesterday's thing when I started talking. I started talking about it, and then it.
And the number one thing you need to remember with yesterday's thing is that you cannot do anything wrong. You cannot do anything wrong. He cannot do anything wrong. Yeah, he might have some lessons that are coming, and that may not be something that feels good as they go through them for any of you. But nothing wrong can happen.
I love that.
Well, and it's so liberating. I mean, because now for me, I look back at my past, and particularly now that my parents have croaked, died, or transitioned, your choice, right? Depending on which Abraham type, or not Abraham type way you want to say it, right? I know now that the things that we didn't get along about are just gone, and we're good and we're square, and it's great. So now I can look back at those contrast things from my childhood and get better meaning and get greater meaning. Why would I do that? What did that make me like? What did it bring out in me? And so I think the thing later today, part of it is that I'm looking for two things, right? Number one, what's the inspiration? Where am I inspired? Not where I'm trying to do something, not where, I want to be popular. I want to be happy. I want to be wealthy. I want to go on a lot of vacations. Not from that place, but from the place where you suddenly have an idea. Hey, I'd like to create this image. Hey, I'd like to create this photo show, right?
Right. Right.
So
it's beautiful.
I'm very much trying to work totally from an inspiration. It is like learning how to ice skate. You go really good, and then something happens, like Trump's running for president, or somebody alerts your attention to that, or something, and you go, oh, you know what I mean? You're going real good, and then life comes in and says, and then you get going again. So what's going on with the photo show? It's totally inspiration. Why? I don't know. You know what I mean? Why would I be inspired in that direction? I don't know.
So you never had like a plan or a visual or something that you said, I
literally on that page tell you what the process was. Okay, so how that one happened.
Where's the link to that exact thing you just mentioned?
Well, it's the thing that's going to come out at 3.
Got it. Okay.
So it's the Angie C. Cheerleader of Life page, but it'll switch to that portion of the page at 3. It actually publishes at 3 Pacific Standard Time. I decided announcing it like that.
Spell it out.
I could type it over there.
Okay.
I decided that I used to do photo shows locally, and it was like, how do you make this like a first Thursday or something? And it's like you set a time, this is when it's coming out, and you announce it. That was the only way I could think of it. Because of what the photos are like, it really felt like it did need that treatment. You couldn't just release it like I have done other photos. You know what I mean? Because there is some, you have to say kind of explicit material, I guess, in there. It doesn't seem explicit to me, but yes, there are body parts on a few of them that, some people just would never want to see, I guess. Oh. The process was, in 2015, I went to Mardi Gras, right?
Okay.
In New Orleans, right? God, it's like you need to backtrack from that. The other thing I'm doing, besides just following inspiration, is I'm looking at the things that I liked when I was a kid and seeing how I feel about them now, or how that's translated. So things like this with color, when I was a kid, I really liked shiny, colorful things. I can remember being at a flea market and they had a bunch of evening dresses with sequins and things. And me and this other little girl, you couldn't pry us away. It's like we wanted to buy all of them and none of, So I'm kind of coming back to that, and it definitely shows my background has been very much one in writing and one in art. And I think the art end of it is more my natural, who I was aimed at, and the writing is more what I was shaped into by the circumstances of my life. So it's kind of trying to get back to that. So I go to Mardi Gras in 2015, and obviously it's attracting to me because you can wear all these colors and sequins. I mean, and the people, I know people who are really into it, who really dress up, right? It's not necessarily, you do drink, but it's not about flashing boobs or getting drunk. It's getting to... Ooh, the sound did something weird. It's getting to... Or what?
We're choppy, too. We were choppy there, too, for a bit. And Randy keeps coming on and off. He's like a star.
Well, that's weird.
Twinkle.
Well, I tried to get the system ready for it before this morning. I tried to. Pin open. I don't even know what look like that. That's something else about the Land Cruise. But so nice. The process there on that was, I went to the Mardi Gras. I didn't get to go in 2016 because it was an early Mardi Gras, but I definitely want to go again. So I belong to 2 of the crews, and I want to go in 2017, and I've been working on a costume for it. As I start working on that costume for it, I start to become inspired that I want to write a backstory for my character. I wake up one morning, and the backstory to my character now includes her working in a brothel. Brothel. So then it goes to, I want to illustrate this book. right? I start illustrating it and I realize, no,
Okay.
I don't need to write a book. It's all about these illustrations. So that's how I got there. They're when you're going to see when it opens.
Can we share those?
That's we can't share them now, although the one that is
now?
the shades of gray, that is of course one underneath it, that picture. Any of the pictures that you see underneath that anything but shades of gray that I was putting out the last 2 days, those would be in the any one of them, but they're the cleaner ones.
Yeah, it's going to get a little dirty.
My background that a lot of people don't know, that would be one of them. My background that people don't necessarily know, and it's interesting because the day I was announcing that, my most mentor-like photo teacher announced his retirement from teaching the very same day. So it was like, ooh. But in that history of photo teaching, that particular teacher, Ron Zach, was always kind of pushing me in a certain way creatively. So when I was studying under him, the biggest thing like I did this time that I did then was when I called When I Was a Kid. And I went around and I was photographing what I would encounter in life with an eye that this was some kid's memories they'd look back at. You know what I mean? So you have the memories you remember, but it was trying to look at the time period like it was their memories. And technically wise, it involved a lot of graininess and color. But it became really interesting, the things I was finding, because it was right after Polly Klaas was kidnapped. So I found some of Polly Klaas, she was from Petaluma, was kidnapped, big deal. I remember Winona Ryder donated a bunch of money because Winona Ryder's from Petaluma, who knew, right? She ended up being found dead and had died. But at the time I was doing it, I mean, you were getting a lot of these posters to search for Polly Klaas. I ended up donating the entire photo series to the Polly Klaas Foundation just because of that. But so I have this weird place where you've got pictures that I think are just pretty, but you know, when I go deep, they've done both.
Yeah.
So the Polly Klaas ones were pretty, but if you looked at them, it made you start thinking. And I kind of think these ones that are, you know, erotica or sexually oriented have the same potential.
So you're hoping that people will not hoping, but people will potentially look at these pictures and something will.
I get something from it, so I think the potential's there. For instance, in my mind, they're divided in 3 different types of pictures. There's the girlfriend experience, which is borrowing from my simple knowledge about prostitutes, which would come from that stupid show on HBO, Cat House or whatever the hell it's called, right? And they would talk about this thing called the girlfriend experience, where there might not even be sex ad. It's just a girl that will sit and be a girlfriend for you during the amount of time you'll pay, right? So I had some that I thought epitomized a girlfriend, right? Somebody's girlfriend. And then I have some that I call the lovers, where the people I feel are actually connected, right? And then I have some that I just called kink, right? Now, kink could involve weird stuff, or it involves these ones that I've felt the need to label. What I've done is I've actually put them on a pages form, and where it says at the top where you haven't titled your document yet, it says blank whatever. They're blank whatevers. And they're blank whatevers because it's just a sexual act, and nobody, they don't care about each other. These are mix and matches. So the fact that I've looked at pictures that I was just making to be beautiful and seen this is this, and this is this, and this is this, I think there's probably a lot of little observations there to see.
Cool. Expression, right? I don't know, that word just popped in my head.
So yeah, I guess what I'm saying is, yes, I suppose there are a bunch of dirty pictures in a way, but there's more there. But they're people.
That's
and that's the thing about shades of anything but gray. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we as people, whether it's about sex or going on land cruises or ACIM, we are all one, but we are the diversity is what makes us important and real and have the potential to do what we came here to do. And that, I think it's showing in that art as well. But it's a little risky, I mean, because people, do they even want to look at it?
Well, it's got it, right?
Now, I kind of wonder, why does sex keep coming up, right? Why do I keep, but think about this. When you're talking about Abraham and you're talking about the goal being, okay, one, we're always in the receiving mode. So the more in alignment you are with your true self, what you really want, you're happy when you feel your happiest, right? You're aligning with all those good things. And that's what an orgasm is. An orgasm is a physical proof of alignment. Literally, people who have problems having an orgasm look to your alignment. That's why. So it's like a, you know. And now it's not the only one, but
yeah, you were well, like on the zip line. You have to be aligned on that line.
Okay, so yes, we do need to talk about that. I look at those pictures and I'm shocked I did it. But at the time, it was the first one they had us do. Yeah. I knew I wanted to do one. I'd seen pictures of one, I think in Australia. And then I think there's some guy in the South, the American South, that put one in his own backyard. And so I wanted to do one. I knew that. But when I've looked at the pictures of that, it's just like, oh, my God, it was really scary while you're doing it. Because and you don't think you're going to get dropped or anything. It's more it's because every time it goes down one of those metal things, it really jars you. and so you want to let go. Oh. But if you start to let go, you immediately realize that you're going to start spinning, and it has to do with some sort of weight ratio thing. You're going to start spinning. I don't want to spin. Now I'm going to throw up if you spin me. Right? I don't do spin. They don't want you to do spin, so you make sure you're holding on. So it's just like, oh, am I going to be able? And then for the men that were riding it, it was some of them their first time ever in the zipline harness, and so it hadn't been. They hadn't adjusted themselves. So while I'm going, oh, every drop, they're going, oh, right. Every drop. So mainly that one, it's just a fear of, am I going to make it to the end without peeing myself, throwing up, or doing something horrible? But so I just, every picture of me on that thing, I'm like this. Actually, I look more, it's not as angry. Hi, Dawn. I don't know how to pronounce that. Now this other one, I was terrified. The Superman one that he's showing now, it was the second one after the roller coaster. So I knew I wanted to do the roller coaster. I do the roller coaster and it's like, whoa, I feel like I barely made it out of that. So now I'm like, what's going on with this one? I'm afraid of it. And they were so good. Right? Because I'm telling her, I'm starting to get really scared. And they were so good at redirecting you and calming you down. And this one really, once you got up there and realized that, no, it's moving like a normal zip line. They're not shooting you out of a cannon. You're fine. I don't have a problem with heights really at all, right? So that part didn't matter. And then this one, I mean, you don't even have to stop yourself. You don't have to brake. You don't have anything. You just go flying. And so it became my favorite immediately. Absolutely immediately.
Oh, wow. How long
it's not a real long line, but it's not a real long run. I'd say as zip lines go, and I suck at keeping track of feet and everything, but I'd say it's like a medium-sized run, but they let you do it twice. I have seen there's one in, and I love ziplining so much. I've Googled it all over the world, and I just, come on, people, invite me. I will come and do your zipline. But there's one in South Africa where they do it this way. That one, I do think they shoot you out of a cannon. It looks really fast. It looks really, really fast. For people who love zip lines too, there's another one that I'd really like to do that's in Italy, and you go through I believe you pronounce it Dolomite Mountains, but you literally zip line from one village to another. And I think you do it the Superman configuration too. Oh, that's true. I wonder if you can carry baggage.
I mean, just the fact, the thing is,
I don't want to drive back.
Or just have it on the zip line behind you. Yeah, your feet are totally free, and that, like, when the most scary I'll go are roller coasters right now. And I saw these guys, on the ones where your feet are free. I saw these guys take their shoes off. And I was like, I don't get it, but I'm going to do that next time. and it was way scarier. I
Oh, how
realized just
interesting.
now my feet are, isn't that crazy? So I can't imagine this.
Well,
this
and
is
they
just
tell
so
you, I don't
beyond
remember what they told me in
what
terms of my legs before the roller coaster one, but on all of the zip lines, and I should say, okay, so I've zip lined, the first one was in Maui, then Kauai, then Rotorua, New Zealand, then Occidental, California, then Ketchikan, Alaska, and now Cancun, Mexico. I'm hoping next will be Italy. But
Wow.
I
How
do
are
have
you
pictures, and one of
documenting
my
all
next,
this? Or do you
after
have
the
just
photo gallery's gone, I promised I'm going to review all the different zip lines I've gone to and tell you the differences, because there are a lot of differences. This
Cool.
place was really, really good. Their gloves, you did, on any of the non-Superman or roller coaster ones, you did have to break yourself, but I found their gloves were better than Ketchikan's or Occidental's, where you also had to break yourself. The only problem with it was so humid and so hot that they put you put on medical gloves first and then the leather glove, because you're going to sweat. And oh my God, I would lift my arm and there would literally be liquid coming down my arm. I was sweating so bad. but it was partly because of that plastic right there and then the heat. Right? So my hands are now peeling from it, but it's totally worth it. And their gloves were the best ones for breaking. And if you want to,
got it.
So on this roller coaster one, did you have to hold onto that bar the whole time, or could you just?
If you didn't hold onto that bar the whole time, you would start to spin.
Oh, okay.
And it's actually the holding onto that bar that, for my part, made me feel like I was. But for the men, see, the bottom part, they hadn't adjusted well enough, and they didn't know what was coming, and that there was going to be a drop about every so many yards that went. And it was funny because they'd be angled and you'd speed up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun though. But they must have told me to assume that position, because generally in the beginning of any run, they will give you guidance on how to hold your legs. And it's actually very personalized. Don't think that they're just saying that to everybody. They tell you your specific legs, because they want you to make the whole run. And it's not the heavy people that are a problem. It's the light people that are a problem. And if you haven't assumed the position that they tell you, you can get stuck in the middle. And if you get stuck in the middle, it depends on the company. Some companies will come out and get you, right? Some companies will make you get yourself off the line. Of course, even those companies will come get you when you are unable to get yourself off the line.
Just send somebody down behind you that's heavier, right?
It's interesting because with the zip lines, I've done so many of them. This was the first one. They're all very, they won't send somebody until the line's clear. This one, some of the lines, they'd have 3 of us on there at once. So I think that does have to help with it. You know what I mean? And generally the procedure, if you're the only person out there on the line and you do stop, you need to turn around and you're going to do a hand over hand thing on the wire. Swear to God. Swear to God.
Oh my God.
But there's one that isn't in here. We can show it later if you want. I think it's over on Instagram. But you had the option on some of them of going upside down. But and I did once, right? But if you go upside down, they send somebody with you. And they're right behind you, and they're going to stop you. It's because the upside down, they only let you do it on certain runs, and on those runs, you need to participate to stop, and since you're upside down, you can't, so we send somebody with you who does the stopping parts. But it's really weird, because, I had a woman with mine, and she was the one that encouraged me to do it, and I thought, yeah, all right, I should do it. I wasn't going to, because it just felt kind of, I don't know, you have to bring somebody along, but so then I realized that I couldn't really extend my legs all the way up, or I'd hit the wire, I'd hit the cable. And so essentially you have this person that's behind you that's kind of doing a crotch stare the whole time. But I got to be upside down. It is interesting.
Wow.
But yeah, so whenever they tell you, that's one. Whenever they tell you assume a position, whether it's sticking your legs out, whether it's slightly cannonballing, assume the position, because they're trying to make you aerodynamically your best to get to the other side.
Okay. Wow. wow. See, I didn't know it's so complicated. I thought you just, I'm used to just zip line,
and
watching
see, I
zip
think
line
that's
just
it.
go by.
I think that's the thing is depending on where it is. I haven't been on the Vegas one, and I do want to do it. But the more people that run through it, I think the more they just handle everything. And so that's kind of how the Cancun one was. And I mean, they're moving people through fast. And I'm sure if you got stuck in the middle, they just come out and get you through, they were, their maneuverability on those zip lines, every one I do, is better than the last. And so the best one I've been to now is Cancun. And it was incredible. I mean, because they had on the Superman one, they had extra wires, and the guys would go out there ahead of you, and I don't know how they'd stop themselves in the middle, but they would intentionally stop themselves in the middle and, like, anchor themselves in the middle, flip themselves upside down, and take pictures of us as we went by. And, I mean, none of the others, no. I mean, they'll be up on the platform. Not that I'm encouraging anybody to do it. I mean, this comes naturally to them, and that's how they handle it. And they do a great job.
So was this encouraged to do by?
That's another thing. I was going to talk about that. Okay, so if the goal is to be in alignment with your higher self and your better self and what you wanted to do when you came here, you're going to be happy, you're going to feel better, and then your receptive mode is open to more good things, right? When you go to one of those conferences, they have set you up where you can't help but be at a little bit higher receptivity than you normally are because you're on vacation. You know what I mean? You're on vacation. Hopefully you picked a place that you really wanted to go and an experience that really had a bunch of things that did it for you, right? And so when they go on any of those, the cruises and stuff, just like a normal cruise, and this was considered a land cruise, there are excursions that they are offering to you. Sometimes they're Abraham Hicks exclusives, right? Which at Cancun had to be, right? Pretty. Because we sold out. It was all Abraham Hicks people at that hotel during the conference, which was fantastic. I mean, you couldn't walk up to anybody who was anything but, an employee. Employees weren't. But anybody else, if you walked up to them and said anything to do with the law of attraction, Abraham Hicks, blah, 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 they knew what you were talking about and could respond. Immediately. So you see what I mean? It sets you up. You're like in a petri dish of the next level up for whatever you are. Now, interestingly, because that happens, you do have a flux of people who have these weird, stray, bizarre things that they attracted. Like one woman fell down a flight of stairs and broke her leg and had to go to the hospital. And it's like, if we're all attracting, if we're all in this high receptivity mode, what the heck happened with you? Some of those things hiccup and come out.
Yeah, I mean, because she removed herself from the mass energy, right? Whatever. I mean, it had to have been a high energy. I can tell you one
yesterday, right? And really, this is how it's beginning to feel like it happens for me. So that could be exactly what happened to her. And I think it was I'm pretty sure it was a her. But I'll explain these photos in a minute. It's another excursion that I did after the Abraham Hicks portion, but it would have been something they had offered as well. It's just I did 3 extra days, thank heavens, because then Art and his problem. But it allowed us to see a few more things. What was I talking about before? So this photo thing, right? Like I said, it's going just inspiration, right? So I'm trying not to make anything happen, not to judge, so forth. So the other day, I put all these things in motion that I've been inspired to do, which I told you yesterday is a lot more than I normally do. I have a lot of little plates spinning out there. And it's just exciting because you don't know what's going to happen, but you can't really think for something to happen from it. But it's like looking at a pool and I've thrown a whole bunch of rocks and let's see what those do, right? So I'm thinking about that and I'm taking my trash out, right? And I'm thinking, starts with nice little things that could happen, and they get more and more big and improbable until they reach a point where they're too improbable for my belief system, and I think about somebody being mean and judging me, right? And I literally, the second that thought goes into my head, the next thing I know, I'm laying on the ground. It was like somebody took a branch and just went, June, you're tripping now. Boom. When I fell down, I just laughed. I'm like, okay, yes, I get it. I had drifted to bed, hadn't I? So yeah, when the moment she talks about that receiving mode, and she talks about that, like that feeling of alignment and being receptive to good. Think of it as a momentum, like a wheel or something going down a hill, right? And the faster and faster it goes. Notice how I said in the belief thing, I went to nice little things that can happen, nice little things that can happen, a little bit less probable, little higher. The bigger they became, the little bit less probable, right? Well, that's your momentum getting really, really fast, right? And now it's really, really fast, and you get thrown off because you stick a stick in your spokes. And so the bizarre thing is, I think, from my own experience and witnessing that at Abraham Hicks, the better you're getting at it, when you do that stumble, it can be pretty immediate and but then so can the flip side. That's why you have stories of people instantly manifesting, a check for $1 million or something. It's a question of mastery, maintaining your alignment, and not getting thrown by the momentum.
You know where I feel I'm at? I feel like, speaking of that, kind of aligning with that, is it's hard for me to visualize anymore. It's like I feel I'm in something, and I'm at the right speed because I'm about to go on vacation. But I'm in the right direction, and I feel like there's nothing for me to think I need to plan. Right now, like I'm just not there. Even my heroes, remember, I was so excited. I'm like, not now, and it made me a little sad though. I was like, but I'm really inspired in the direction I'm in. I have to trust
Don't be
it.
sad.
Right? So bizarre. It's
exactly.
So
don't be sad.
Me.
Don't be sad. So those other pictures, some of the things that you could do on the excursions, and they were some of the ones on the Abraham Hicks. See, now you basically had a week with the conference, right? So you would have a morning workshop, one day off, a morning workshop, and a morning workshop is basically how it worked, right? So you really only, during the conference, if you were going to do one of these big excursions, you only had one day. So this is not the one I did on the Wednesday. Wednesday we went to Chichen Itza. This is the Friday. I know it is. It's actually a Mayan word, and I can't remember what it means, but it has to do with the wizard. They were much about astronomy, so it was the wizard who something the stars and water or something. I can't remember exactly how it works. Did you hear? No.
I thought it was in play on
It does sound that way though. But did you hear the one recently? The Canadian kid who actually through the stars found a new Mayan village they hadn't found, and by the satellite pictures, they know it is there.
Love it. Oh my God!
Just Google Canadian kid finds Mayan, and you should be able to get it. It only came out like yesterday. But because they were very much into the stars, and because they had to. They were very an agricultural society, and water would be very important. A lot of the stuff was around that. And so, the Chichen Itza name, I believe, had something to do with the Wizard of Water or something like that. The one that he was showing there, it's distinctive because it's another one you don't hear about as much. It's called Koba, right? I'm not sure exactly where it is. It's closer to Tulum. Right, which Tulum's closer to the coast than Chichen Itza. Well, we were at Chichen Itza. It was 40 degrees centigrade, which I'm told is about 104. It was hot. Most of the time, it was humid and it was hot.
Or dry?
Most of the time down there, it was in the 80s, right? But when you got to Chichen Itza, it was like that. Tulum, I'm sure it was a lot cooler because it was right on the coast, but still humid and hot. Oh, absolutely.
Will you talk about the food after
I'll
this?
even show you something, although I'll have to get up and go get it, but I know exactly where it is. But Koba was closer to Tulum, and Koba is distinguishable because it's the only one that I heard of left that you can still walk up one of the pyramids. So, of course, you want to do that. Although the problem is it's so humid and it's so hot that it's hard just to get to the pyramid, let alone go up it and make yourself back to the bus. You know what I mean? The bus is leaving or whatever, and you're in a hurry. And Art's getting over he had a cold that he was getting over that basically turned into bronchitis while he was there. So yeah, it was interesting at Tulum. He was having a tough time at Tulum, and he didn't even try to go up the pyramid. But so I went up the pyramid, but I only went up halfway because I was afraid of how long it might take me to come down, because I knew I would have a better time coming down than a lot of people because, one, I'm short, and two, I'm not as afraid of heights. But what I stopped at the point where I was like taking pictures and keeping an eye on Art and waving to him because he's taking a picture of me. And so I had been looking up and I turned to look down for him, and you have one of those like vertigo moments, and I'm like, that's it. Because I cannot afford to be at the top and have to make it back to a bus in 20 minutes and have vertigo. So that was where I decided, I'm not. If I'd had longer, I would have gone to the top because I would have wanted that view. So the view is,
and that was
right.
That picture,
so you have a view of those pictures. Showed. One shows looking up ahead of where I am. One shows looking back, and one. What?
I got
let your cat in.
My cat in. My cat. He's pulling the door, and
I know you're.
I'll be right back. Keep talking.
But the pictures he was showing had one where I was looking up the pyramid above me, and one where I was looking down the pyramid below me. And then the trees that's how high you could see.
Come on.
You think that's a Buddha or a tiki god?
Hi. Okay. Oh.
But so it simply showed going up the pyramid above me and going down the pyramid below me. And that was the height of the trees that I could see from where I was. And that kind of shows you what the jungle's like, because if you look at those trees, they're pretty solid. Hey, kitty. That's that beautiful Siamese. What's the beautiful Siamese's name? Gizmo. Yeah, he looks like, Those are like the cats of my youth.
He's a bear.
Although bigger than Doodle, but kind of like Doodle. Doodle was, cat for my youth. So what else were we going to talk about? Oh yeah, the food,
and the fun stuff you guys did.
See, they had. I didn't get to go to all the pool parties, but they had 2 pool parties. Pool. So right outside the pool, right? It's funny because I was one of the people I was going to interview on my videos. I'm gonna forget his name again. Damn it, Herbie. I can't.
Hey, by the way, I think we lost Randy because we stopped talking about the erotic.
We lost him because I stopped talking about what? Oh, because I started talking about the zip lines?
No, I was like, his erotica was supposed to be one of the... He's out of here. Every time one of us is missing, I tease them.
I need to go back and look at what I was
going. Now you're a victim.
The food. I had a weird experience with the food. But see, I'm such a moving target. You know what I mean? I embrace change, and I'm different than I was when you first met me. You know what I mean? And there's little things to embracing that are interesting. So when I first got there, I was having problems eating, and I couldn't get it. And it wasn't like, literally, I would put food in my mouth, and I'd be like, no, and have to spit it out. And it wouldn't be that it tastes bad. It was just, I don't know. It was some weird thing going on. So for a little bit in the beginning, I was living kind of on yogurt that they would have at the workshops.
What was the
I have no idea. Maybe just
out?
Overly tired, overly excited. What my body seemed to be protecting me from was meats, because it would happen more frequently with meats. Fruits. And it's really kind of interesting because I've always wanted to like fruit more. And I've just never been a big fruit person, right? But I thought, I really would love to. Wouldn't it be great to just love fruit? Well, guess what I got from Cancun? I love fruit. It flipped there, and it's held.
Interesting.
It's like, if you give me a piece of pineapple, oh my God, there's nothing like really fresh. Oh God. So it's held. Now I've at least gotten meats back though. And I did get them back on the vacation. It was so funny.
And you don't.
Well, the first day that I really was into the eating was Wednesday. And I actually think it flipped on Tuesday afternoon, because Tuesday afternoon I had been supposed to go. Anybody who knows about it, everything, I was supposed to go with a friend. The friend didn't bring his passport to the airport. He didn't get to come to Cancun until significantly later, like 4 days later. He showed up on the Tuesday. The Tuesday we had been supposed to in the afternoon do a snorkeling expedition, and I don't want to do it by myself, and I wasn't as much about snorkeling, so I was just going to give it away, just give it to somebody who would like to do this, right? I don't need my money back, right? Just give it to them, right? So I go to the booth, and it doesn't exist anymore, right? When I found out the excursions, if you didn't get enough people, they didn't end up happening, and you get refunded. So that's what's happened, right? But the only one listed for that day is now a cooking lesson, where they drive you into Cancun to this restaurant, and and it's like, cool, I'll do it, right? So I switched to that. So and that's probably where it flipped. I'll be right back.
Okay. Usually we don't come and go like this, but it's just us. Okay, I was wrong. It's not just us. It's us.
What?
Everybody here. We all understand.
But see, so that was from that cooking class, and so they gave you the recipes that you learned during the class. I can.
Are you going to share?
They basically gave you this one tequila drink that's a specialty of the house. Crushed ice, simple syrup, lime juice, tequila, grapefruit soda, an orange juice, and 2 teaspoons of fresh diced pineapple. It was delicious. And then they have traditional Mexican sauce, which we know just as salsa, right? Tomatoes, tomatillos, garlic, onion, chicken broth, coriander. Coriander is cilantro. They're the same herb. I didn't know it either. I'm like, where's the coriander? I only see cilantro. They're like, it is. Oh. Who knew?
Wow. So, is that
no.
all the ingredients in that one?
Habanero peppers and sea salt. Oh, and the sea salt, it's so cool. You take one of those like mortar and pestle things, right? Only they have them where it's very, it's almost like made out of volcanic rock. It's really, really coarse. And you take that sea salt and you grind it in there so that it's smaller and finer. Wow. And then you... Me too.
Oh, I gotta get you one of them.
And you literally mix the entire salsa in that thing. You can actually serve it too. Mine was about,
it? Like,
the bowl.
Okay. Wow. How fun. And I take it that they roasted everything, right? Because I think that's where you get that flavor. You gotta roast it and bring it out.
Yeah, they did. But they did like that sort of stuff beforehand, and it would give you the instructions. It's like one of the other ones was fish ceviche, and when you make a fish ceviche, it's actually raw fish, and it cooks in the citrus that you put in there. And because they didn't have enough time for it to do the cooking in the citrus, they pre-cooked the fish a little. But they give you the recipe to do it the actual way. And then the other one, so you have fish ceviche, salsa, and then the other one, and I've always wanted a good recipe for it. It's so simple, but I've never really made it. I always just go buy it. Guacamole. So avocado, onion, chopped tomato, salt and pepper, lime, and coriander, which we now know as cilantro.
That's great. Yeah, because my husband does not like cilantro, except in guacamole. But now I'm gonna play with this. We ate guacamole last night that he handmade. But he did it wrong.
He can't do it wrong.
The avocado was supposed to go. Oh, yeah. No, that's the catch. Thank you. And I'm getting to that. I was looking at the recipe card today because I'm like, that guacamole was exceptional. And it was from like Plated.
Yay!
I'll give you the recipe. And the avocado was supposed to be mushed on the bottom of our fish sandwich bread. It was a fish sandwich, tile fish. And I was reading the recipe. I'm like, I don't see guacamole on here. because he was telling me it was guacamole, and there was like, he left some of it in the bowl. I'm like, why is that over here? We should be eating that. He goes, no, I already put some on the sandwich. It's where it goes. I'm like, bring that over here. And I start like dipping my potatoes in it. I'm just like, So what it was, it's kind of raw. It's not going to sound good, but he had mixed it with mayonnaise. It was mayonnaise, avocado, some onion and stuff like that. So he made his own version, but I was like, just.
Have you ever made your own mayonnaise?
No, because of the egg yolk thing.
You might want to try it. I've had a friend in the past who's made his own mayonnaise and told me stories of his daughter going to the refrigerator and just eating it out of the jar. It was so good. So remember, anything like that, if you make it yourself and you go to the all natural ingredients, see, organic, to me, right? What you learn from all these things is that anything that hurts us, from mayonnaise to cigarettes, it's because we've told ourselves it will hurt us. And so if you could do things to make it a little bit healthier so that you can help yourself believe this isn't going to hurt me. But to me, so far, that's working for me. I remember last year after Alaska, right, I had the hysterectomy, right? And I've been recovering. I actually had a woman, I was telling about that at Cancun, that told me, when did you get that done? And I said, October. And she says, well, you're still healing. You're still recovering. And I'm like, no, I'm ziplining.
Yeah, did you tell her you weren't even taking any of the drugs that you're like?
Well, but here's the thing, in terms of eating and stuff, I'm eating whatever I'm inspired to eat, which guaranteed at the beginning of Cancun was a little weird. It's like, damn, I'm going to be living on Oreos and yogurt. What's going on? But then the first one, I was going to say, that's what I was talking about, that Chichen Itza, it was a pork taco near the Mayan village. Oh, then I was full on eating. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They really are.
You know, tacos are magic.
But so weight wise, I realized this week I'm within like 5 pounds of what would be my goal weight. And I'm just doing what I'm inspired to do.
Okay.
Within about 5 pounds. Now, guaranteed, my goal weight wasn't real low. I don't want to be. When I got a divorce, I hit like in the 120s, and I was exercising a lot, but I wasn't eating. And so if I stood up too fast, I'd get dizzy. So I don't want to go there again. So I only want to be in the 130s, not the 120s. And I've entered the 130s.
Yeah.
And really, I mean, I just eat what I want, and I exercise when I remember to. And I'm just naturally more active because I'm happier and enjoying life.
Oh, see, that's it. I'm exactly aligned with that. And I love everything you just said.
Is cilantro. And with men like that, men don't seem to like cilantro as much. It always is men that do that. I don't know why. And I've found if you just don't tell them and it's mixed in there, they're good. They never even notice it.
That's how.
Once in a while, they'll say, "What was that green thing in there?" And then you'll say, "Well, it was cilantro," and they'll go, "Wow, I really thought I hated cilantro, but that was good." That's the only way it even comes up when you do it that way. As long as nobody's allergic, then all bets are off. And I don't understand allergies very big, but I don't worry about it. Because, in terms of manifesting and being able to make it go away. Randy likes it in moderation. And he wanted to know if you have the oil. I think he means the cilantro oil. I think it does have. I think I have it. But I don't think I have the doTERRA.
I didn't get that one.
I am natural. I have to say this. All of the contrast and things in your life that happen that shape you who you are, I'm very... skeptical, suspicious, wary, aware of anything that claims to be the only one. Anything that says we're the purists, you have to come to us. I'm the only life coach that can help you.
No,
bullshit. Sorry.
Right. Yeah, no, seriously. And remember, science is always changing, right?
So that's
changing.
why I didn't go doTERRA. Yeah. If you look at Eden's Garden, when they talk about pureness, they say everything right about pureness without going, we're the only ones. That's my only issue with that.
No, my greatest moment, Randy was there at the where we both met. We had a doTERRA booth, and a girl from Young Living came over, and we had the best conversation. It's like we just knew, like, we respect each other. It's like no one's better, and we were just kind of laughing about it all, and it just felt good. You know, no words were really spoken about it. It was a feeling. That feeling. I tell you, Angela, I love that we're so more in touch. I'm speaking for all of us, apparently. That I'm more in touch with feeling than having to make things, because I'm not very good with words. Can you hear me
saying you're not very good at things?
Yeah, I'm getting better.
Oh, absolutely. How many have you done now? How many?
Like yakety. I'm at 50.
Have you noticed the shift within the last 10 or so?
Yes, for sure.
Exactly.
I'm enjoying it. It
flips to where you suddenly do know what you're doing. What do you know? I'm a videographer. Yeah. Let me quick do this.
And I know there's a lot of people that like doing things live better. I'm not one of those people. I like doing videos. I like creating.
I would be fine doing it live, and I wanted to do it live. But at Cancun, what it must be, right? Because the Wi-Fi, it wasn't that it was bad, but I noticed it got dramatically better when most of the workshop people were gone. And I mean, you were getting free Wi-Fi. So obviously we're all using it and we're all competing. And you know how you hear strategies on how to maximize, say, your home internet for its maximum potential with that many other people, how you can switch channels and everything. There was probably something like that I could do with my phone, but I don't know how. I don't know what I needed to do to get myself better in the preferential, but when everybody was there, my phone, maybe it's just I needed to be a new generation phone and it was a little bit too old a phone. It's an iPhone, but it's back at the 5S. But so competing, it was like I'm never going to be able to stream anything because it was hard enough to uplift anything. But so I would do a lot more live, but I always think if you're going to be live, there has to be a reason to be live. Otherwise... So if you're at like a festival or, something like that. And I've seen some wonderful lives, and then I've seen some other lives where, what? Why?
See, that's funny. And I was thinking about Matt King, who's a Vegas magician. Because, see, I'm used to saying musician. Yeah, Matt King is great. And I woke up thinking about him and just thinking, wow, he created his whole show. He brings it every single time. But the cool thing is it's the same show. All he has to do is, maybe update it every so often. But I get so bored. But that's me. That's just me. But I love going to see him. We see him every time. And he's really cute. He's super cute.
See, it's interesting because think about the world of information you just told yourself about yourself there, right? Okay, so you're
that I'm got to communicate.
Right. But it's the information for you. It's like, that if you were having to do that, you'd be bored. But you're witnessing it and what you're seeing with him, and it's not making you bored watching it. It's the doing it.
Right? Because that's not my calling.
I just do think it has a lot of information. And if you think about it as information for just how much you have to mix it up to keep growing and feel happy.
Yeah, I did a presentation of the law of attraction, and I got my little board out, and I was so good at it because I know the material so well, and here are the steps, and it was my own way of explaining. But yeah, I have pretend audience and everything.
No, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, it's just At least I know I can do it. But Angela, the reason I think I practice things like that is I think if there ever was an end of the world, and let's say we lost, not the end of the world, I mean technology-wise, if we lost our computer, something happened, and in space and we lost all of our electricity, electronics, and people panicked, you know how valuable we'd be.
I have to think about that.
I think about that. I know that we can help people feel safe and not, maybe choose
I've never thought. I don't know. I do have it.
But see, remember, I come from a dark mind.
Remember, your darkness, though, signals the stuff you're about. It's like when I was talking with Art, and he's all about aliens. And it's like, I just don't have a history thinking about aliens much. My mother, yes. Me, no. But when I think about what I do have a history of, it's a lot about color. It's a lot about communicating. It's a lot about conversations. I do love to talk. It is about flashy colors and everything. My grandfather was a part-time artist. My mother was a part-time artist. My father was a part-time artist. You have people valuing paintings and that sort of communication way back in my family. So it's like, why did I pick that family? Why am I you begin to see which things keep coming up for you.
Mm-hmm.
Randy had said something. I watched a Living Young training and they never said certified PTG. All they say is PTG. So I was wondering if that is the only difference. I have no idea what any of that means, but so that one's you.
Angela, speaking of what you were talking about, you know what also crossed my mind yesterday in my thinking mind? What crossed my mind yesterday with my son and my daughter is I'm giving them lessons in like karate, saxophone, things like that, because I've been pretty much just nurturing what I saw look like was calling them. And I realized when I leave this planet in this physical form, I'm not trying to be all, but when I leave, that I will give them all these gifts that they can use or not use. But then I thought, even if my son did not end up doing anything with saxophone, now it's in his DNA and he might pass that along to the next generation. So all the gifts we're giving, even to our friends, whatever the gift is, how do I serve? It's embedded.
It is very cool. And think about it too, because let's say you're teaching him the saxophone, right? Okay, let's say he doesn't end up liking saxophone whatsoever. But think about all of the things that he's learning in addition to saxophone, about practicing, about what the sensation of blowing through something like that is. I mean, he's learning millions of things that you can't even really perceive that he's getting what he's getting. You know what I mean? And maybe it's simply an openness to learn. Hey, I don't like saxophone, right? But I did this and it was cool, but I really am interested in, I don't know, bongo drums or something, whatever, right? And so it makes him open to simply learning. Learning is cool. Learning is fun.
Ooh, that's good.
As opposed to learning is being made to go sit out on the curb. To me, I heard that one, and it just makes me think of the street. And it's like, what kid? You're going to put a kid out on the curb by the street when he's supposed to be in school? Now I'm worried about his safety. What the hell?
Oh no, the curb is set. It's fenced in.
So you're in the penalty box,
playing around you as you're just sitting there. Yeah. I had such a great conversation with them. It was kind of like counseling. I just asked him a lot of questions. I wanted him to get clear with his actions, what he did different, all these different things. And I realized it gave me I can't think of the word. It gave me the something to stand by the decision of keeping him home, because I knew, what it's really about. It's mom doesn't want to get in trouble by the school because I told her it's all about me, but I have to, and I told him this, I want you to stand by your decision of wanting to stay home.
I think you need to be a little more gentle with yourself, less judgmental, because of course, and I was thinking about it from my perspective, if I were you, right? And absolutely, I would be worried about two things. One, the school coming after me, and two, whether or not I'd done the right thing. I mean, and I talked about this recently. I actually know a person whose husband was fired from a job and didn't tell her for 30 years. For 30 years, he lied about it. So I would be thinking, shit, I don't want to send my son that way, that he hides from his problems. Want him to own up to them, right?
Right.
So I would have been afraid of both those things. So I think you're a little hard on yourself. It would be natural. You don't want to influence your son in a bad way, and I'd be afraid of the school. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, where's the part as a parent? I don't approve of that way of teaching. I don't approve. And now that I hear what it is, it's okay. You're not putting him on the street. that's good. But no, I don't like a penalty box idea.
I mean. Yeah, and I told them, on their property, yes, we want to respect their rules. Okay, that we're not supposed to do that. Okay, we talked about all that too. But I don't have any problem. I feel I did have to work through it, and I feel good about it.
And I think that asking questions and letting people get to their own answers somewhat, right? Because I remember that as a kid. I had moments like. It's funny because I had no moments like that whatsoever, but at the same time, you're a kid, and so I had moments very much like that, where something big was happening tomorrow, and were you going to face it? What were you going to do, right? And I was always the kid that I wouldn't have ever even gotten the choice. You're going, right? But I was also always the one that would face it. It's going to be miserable, it's going to be horrible, but full steam ahead. Exactly.
And it was your choice. I had a similar story with my wisdom teeth. Terrified of surgery, I couldn't do it, and it caused more problems. But then, and that was when I was like 18. But when I hit, I think I was my late 20s, early 30s. I'm like, I'm gonna do it. I want to face this. I got to get these out. And it turns out I pulled a lot of my jaw out. They were so impacted. Is that the word? So he put some stuff, and it meshed with the bones and blood and built itself a new thing, whatever it's called. So all this is like fake. It's so cool, kind of fake. But the fact that it was my choice, my decision, my own money paid for it, because my parents would have paid for it at 18, But
see, the thing is, though, and keep in mind of that side, too, because I became very much aware of that when I had the hysterectomy, and I had that moved. It's empowerment, but you also created the problem. See, you made it you created them taking out that much of your jaw and being an issue. You created that by making it, I'm afraid it's a big issue. And so you made...
Well, I didn't know.
Exactly,
know
neither did I. You see what I'm saying?
Right,
so
I
suppose I think that if you think of it that way, then it helps you going forward. Anything that you're going to go, be careful what you're making. Yeah. And see, I used that principle, and that's part of why I didn't have any pain on the recovery. Because when I was in my 20s, they did a thing where they simply went through my belly button and did the dye test. So I already knew I had one tube blocked and stuff going on, right? But the recovery from just them going through my belly button, oh my God, it was like I could predict weather with my belly button. That sucker hurt for a year. And I mean, meanwhile, I end up having the whole thing removed, and it never hurts once. It never once gives me a twinge. This hurts, take a pain pill. Not once. So
wow, Randy,
I mean,
you've got
that's a total difference. Well, think about it. What's the difference? Is my attitude. Attitude 20s, I'm terrified, and it's horrible. Yeah. Attitude in late 40s, 50s, where if we know if I make a big thing about this and be afraid of it, it's going to be horrible. It doesn't need to be horrible. Your body has already healed through this. This is it actually getting itself better. So just let it do what it needs to do. A lot more trust. A lot more trust.
I love that.
And it works.
Ooh, I love it. Yeah,
and that's how you can trust the teeth, by you being empowered and taking control. You said, okay, I need to do something about this, but I'm making the decisions. I'm making the decisions how much I'll pay for it. I'm making the decision who's going to do it. All of that. You took charge, and the taking charge allowed you to trust.
And the other beautiful part is my
Aw,
mom took
see?
really good care of me. It was just like perfect. Then I got an infection. And
I got a dry socket.
But
I
no,
got a dry
that was
socket
just
with
funny.
mine. I didn't
What?
move enough. I stayed on one side too much and got a dry socket.
Oh, jeez.
It was really kind
What'd you do
of
about it?
disturbing at work because I had taken the time off, but I didn't really have a bad recovery from my wisdom teeth either until the dry socket. And the dry socket happens about a week or so later. So then I'm back at work and I'm like, oh, this is really painful. And they're like, no, you can't have any more time off. It's like, but, and so what, and so what they do when you go to the dentist about it is they put clove oil in it, and that helps relieve it.
Oh, yeah,
and it helps
I
it
got
heal.
that,
Yeah.
and I used it for when the kids had teeth issues.
Perfect.
That's what I put on. Wow, you knew about that already. Look at Miss Oiler. Oiler.
Not only that.
I tell you, Angela, yesterday though, when I got the message from the principal,
I'm
sorry. I'm like, how do I escape the feeling
wait a
of
minute. You got a
panic?
message directly from the principal? It wasn't just your son telling you? You got both. Oh, God.
Yeah. And I tell you, that's where I reached for that Jesus card. I'm like, oh my gosh, why am I panicked? But of course, okay, so we both went to the dentist in the morning. And I bought them Carl's Jr. because Harrison was hungry, and so he ate everything in his lunchbox. So
After
I took
or
him
before?
Oh yeah, after the dentist. No, after the dentist. But he was waiting for his sister, and and then he ate that. And I said, let's just go. This is a special day, and so we did that. And he took everything out of their packaging and re-put it. He has like a bento style box. It's so cool, and he just put everything all nice. So when I got the message from the principal, not saying what it was about, I'm like, oh great, oh gosh, it's about that we went to Carl's Jr. Oh no, I'm in trouble for this lunch, and I'm just like, I wasn't shaking, but I was like, no, this is good. This is good. This is my chance to stop panicking over what I don't know is happening, right?
And you do have a tendency, if you don't mind me saying, to fill in the blanks, to fill in the blanks in a way that is going to be bad. What if somebody resents me because of this? What if somebody, you're
oh, my self-esteem has been.
It's got to be that, I suppose.
So
but yeah, you have a very quick. It's like the other day on one of my videos, and somebody said, well, that's horrible. But it's truth. I'm just telling you. That's what my life was like. But my life used to be 100%. You wake up in the morning, and it's like, okay, let's check out what's going on here. Do I have anything to feel bad about? What do I have to feel bad about?
Yeah, I love that one.
You move that when somebody pokes you with a stick, the principal emailing you, you move to what's going on wrong really fast. Adding.
That's the first survival mode, right?
Now try to put one in instead where you get a few seconds there where you're like, maybe he's contacting you because he just discovered that your child is a genius.
Yeah, he just got his test thing back. I forget what it's called. All the kids were tested to see if they're geniuses. Now we've actually discovered that
right
wrong.
He's calling to tell you that one of your children was actually levitating above the playground, and we want to know how he did it. Think nice things.
I love it. Okay, try that. Even if they're out there. What I did do is I remembered that we're spiritual beings in this physical experience, and when we're not here anymore, none of this is going to matter.
Very true. We make such a big deal out of all of it, and it's just, and I think that's the problem. When Janine's talking about how we're all. Okay, so we all are Jesus, we all are source self, we all are God, right? But we're dealing with a place where we're all in this huge Mexican drama, and some of us forget and actually get caught up in it. And I only pick Mexican drama because they have the best soap operas. You know what I mean? So we're all caught up in this weird soap opera that we think is important. But, nah. Nah.
All dramatization played by Angela Estes.
But so I think really the photos later, sorry, Randy, but they're sure it's an erotic subject matter, but it's just trying to make pretty pictures. It's always just trying to make pretty pictures.
I love it. And Randy, actually I plan on using that for something and I can't remember what it is. I'm going into something. See, I'm so in the present, I don't even remember what it is.
Yes, absolutely.
But,
I don't understand the mortgagee hernia laparoscopic surgery by a TV doctor, Dr. Michael Milley. Does he mean he had hernia surgery from a TV doctor? And if so, I have so many questions. Okay, so if he was a TV,
okay.
If he was a TV doctor, was he there in person? Or did you sit by the screen?
You don't know about this new. I tell you, science is always changing.
He was there in person, or you sat by the screen? No, I've never heard of it. And I thought my doctor was up. You know, she had one of those intuitive surgical machines. That's pretty modern. So was he there in person?
Well, he was in 1999. He was on Trauma in the ER. On a TV show there, and he was also in 4 episodes of Code Blue in 2002. But when I had my Morgagni hernia, I went up to Everett Clinic, Providence Hospital. He was my surgeon that did the surgery. So
he was a TV doctor, but he was a real doctor too.
Correct.
That's really cool.
He was playing himself. He was playing himself in the TV show.
That's a pretty good what do you call it, manifestation as well. I mean, if you're going to get a good doctor, that's a pretty good doctor. My doctor, I'd call her a geek doctor. She uses one of those intuitive surgical machines, and I would say she's very good at it, and she loves doing it. So she's practically high-fiving me like, that was great! And I'm like, I'm glad to hear it. But so, yeah, I'm sure your TV doctor, it's going to be another geek doctor is the bottom line, and you're going to have an excellent experience.
Yeah, what was really funny is, you know, when I first saw him, I went home and I looked on the internet to find out some more information about him. Was there anything bad said about him, or, you know, what his background was? And if it comes up that he's this doctor on the TV show, and so I asked him about that the next time I saw him. He goes like, "Where did you find that?"
He didn't necessarily want people to know he was a TV doctor.
No.
Well, so Elsie's got a child starting to talk to her, I think, and we're at 10:20, which is just such a shame. It went so fast.
Yeah, it was like a zip line.
Yes. Yes, it was. But so yes, I highly recommend any of the Abraham Hicks multiple day ones, because at the bottom line, it's like being in a petri dish of your next best self.
That's a good analogy.
I like it. Mm-hmm.
And it helps propel you to the next best self.
Oh yeah.
I mean that I didn't have a TV surgeon or everything. I did have a geek doctor, but that being able to put myself in that place where I never did feel any pain that made me want to take a pain pill was after the Alaskan cruise. And absolutely the stuff I learned there helped me be able to do that. So this is going to be a weird, apparently, thanks to the thing this afternoon, but a weird but exciting year. As Angela follows her inspiration and color and art. And coaching, of course. And always intellectual conversation.
And filled with laughter.
Always laughing, too.
Yay!
Yes.
Hey, contagious laughter.
Did you see the observation I had this morning? I swear to God it's true. When I look at my Facebook timeline, over on the side, it has the things that are trending. And
Right.
it's like 2 days for two now. The trending thing makes me just laugh and laugh and laugh. Even though it's not necessarily on the surface funny. Yesterday's was Johnny Depp saying that if Trump was our next president, he would be the last American president. Every time I saw it, I would laugh. There was just something about the way they said it. And then today's, what the hell's going on with Trump's butler? I just see Trump and butler and I start laughing. I could have never finished the sentence. It's like, why are we talking about Trump's butler?
This kid, my son has this bully. Harrison, what is your friend? Come here.
It's a friend at the house?
No.
Oh.
What does that kid say about Donald Trump and you? What does he say? That mean thing?
He said my hair looks like Donald Trump's hair.
He says his hair looks like Don. It's so mean.
That's pretty rude.
He gets a little racist with them. He calls them terrible.
Oh, these guys.
Yeah,
But
it's kind of
Trump doesn't part his hair in the middle though. So.
No.
See, they disagree.
Absolutely.
Nothing like.
You know what?
Trump's got that comb over.
White Hershey.
Oh, he calls him White Hershey. And they're friends. He's a bully, but they're friends. Not much friends. That's okay. School's almost over.
I'm so glad.
Another year. You know what? You know when you don't do enough. You know when you don't do enough cleaning and you get those things called dust bunnies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Trump's hair
You see
looks
one
like.
at my house?
No,
Oh.
I'm saying Trump's hair looks like a dyed dust bunny that he glued to his head.
He never changes it, does he? He never changes it.
But he did kind of have to golden it up because generally dust bunnies are kind of gray.
Yeah.
All right, we got to do it.
I think he's been using a little gel lately too because it's been staying in place more.
Oh my.
But I'll bet he can do the eye thing that moves it.
That's creepy.
Oh well, all right. Till the next time. Do I just go ahead and schedule one and say we talk about something good and I can change it later to find out when we do talk about or what we talk about? Perfect. Well, have a great day. Don't be offended later when you see that. If you see that, there's probably something in there to offend everybody, but hopefully there's something in there that everybody will like too. So,
yeah, I can't wait.
Yay! And what's going to happen? Why did I do it? Inspiration. I have no idea.
And you gotta trust it.
That's it.
That inspires me.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.